Welcome everyone to a new edition of the Comic Report. My name is Eric, so let's go ahead and dive right into Avengers Standoff Week 2. This week Marvel put out two tie-in titles for Avengers Standoff. We have Uncanny Avengers number 7 and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 3. So far this is not a traditional crossover where one dives into the other directly. You can read either one of these stories independently of each other, and they don't really cross over. They're dealing with two separate issues going on with the standoff event. So let's go ahead and start with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 3. This issue starts directly from its previous issue, wherein Agent Coulson's team is searching for a quantum drive that was stolen by a hacker in an old school Iron Man costume. The quantum drive was taken from the Pentagon, and it was found out that the project had to do with an old flame of Agent Coulson, so he's been investigating that, teaming up with her in some cases. You find out that this woman, Lola, is a telepath, and that the quantum drive had information on it, kind of like a Tower of Babel kind of scenario. Coulson had thought up of different ways of stopping all the various superheroes, and she, as a telepath, while they were dating, took the information from his mind, and that's what's stored on the quantum drive. Coulson and Lola found Iron Maiden, and with the intent of interrogating her concerning where the auction for the quantum drive was going to be. During the quote-unquote interrogation, which was just Lola using her telepathic powers to grab the information from Iron Maiden, Lola discovered information from her about the Pleasant Hill facility. Meanwhile, in that issue, number 2, Mockingbird and Agent Fitz were infiltrating an airplane over North Korean airspace, looking for clues on the quantum drive. So we're in issue 3 now. Mockingbird and Agent Fitz are falling from the sky after the whole incident with the plane exploding that they were on, essentially. They're picked up by Agent May in the S.H.I.E.L.D. jet, and that's where that part of the story stops, and we switch immediately over to Coulson. Lola was giving information to an informant to take back to her superiors concerning the Pleasant Hill facility. Coulson stopped that, killed the informant, which you find out was just a life model decoy, and placed Lola under arrest. Coulson then shares with his team the information about Pleasant Hill facility, that he knew about it, but he thought, like everyone else did, that Maria Hill ended the program, that they were not using cosmic cube fragments to alter reality or anything like that. He's seemingly as surprised as anybody else of what's going on. So Coulson splits up his team. One team dealing with the quantum drive problem, which is it's probably going to be an ongoing thing after the Pleasant Hill tie-ins. And then he sends the other half of the team to go hunt down Rick Jones, who is now known to S.H.I.E.L.D. as the Whisperer, the one that's been feeding Sam Wilson intel, the one that let everything leak about the COVID program in the first place. So he sends Deathlock, Quake, and Agent Simmons out to go find him. That part of the story takes the characters into the old Morlock tunnels, where they do find Rick Jones, and to get away from the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, Rick Jones uses a barrage of former villain and heroes gear to try to make his escape. He's eventually caught by, I believe, Agent Simmons, who shoots him with rubber bullets, knocks him out, and then they arrest him and take him back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Meanwhile, Agent May and Mockingbird both go to Barbuda, which is where the auction for the quantum drive is going to be. While they're taking note of all the different villains and whatnot that are there at the auction, and with one surprise cameo by Wolverine. Now, it's not clear whether or not this is a clone of Wolverine or if it's a villain posing as Wolverine. It's something like Mastermind disguising himself or herself as Wolverine, but I highly doubt that the return of Wolverine was going to be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we know this is kind of a red herring, because most likely if Wolverine was going to come back, it'd be either in probably Extraordinary X-Men or in All New Wolverine or some book like that. So then we get back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. prison where they're holding Rick Jones. Rick's basically saying that it would, the S.H.I.E.L.D. made it easier for them to come find me. Who them is, we don't know, until all of a sudden the helicarrier gets attacked, and in walks the New Avengers, Sunspot's team. Up until this point, the New Avengers we knew that they were in the storyline, we knew that their book was going to cross over into the story. What we didn't know was how, because at this point, no one really from that team has really interacted with the story. We've had Sam Wilson interact with the story, who's over in All New, All Different Avengers, and we've had Steve Rogers interact with the story, who's in Uncanny Avengers. You knew, because of the fact that it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. prison, that S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to be involved in the story. The New Avengers hadn't really been involved yet. So this part of the story ends with the New Avengers breaking into the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, possibly to rescue Rick Jones. So this storyline is going to continue into New Avengers number 8. Looking on the last page of the book, it's clear that this storyline, or they're indicating that this storyline is going to stick in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and New Avengers. So it looks like there's probably going to be 2 paths getting us to Assault on Pleasant Hill Omega. Next up we have Uncanny Avengers number 7. This issue opens with things that are probably going to be explored more in Uncanny Avengers after this storyline is over, kind of getting that stuff out of the way. Instead of mixing its storyline with the Pleasant Hill storyline, it kind of deals with that in the first 3 to 4 pages, gets you ready for what's going to come after Pleasant Hill, and then just dives into the Pleasant Hill storyline. It starts off with Quicksilver going to visit his sister Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, basically doing a run-by viewing of her. His inner monologue suggesting that they either had a falling out due to the events of Axis or the last Uncanny Avengers volume, where they knew, or where they found out who their parentage was, that they were not indeed Magneto's children like they had thought for the last 3 decades. So their relationship will probably be explained more later on in Uncanny Avengers, or I believe Scarlet Witch has her own series, so something may show up there involving the 2 Maximoff twins. Then we get a look into Voodoo's family life. He's visiting his dead brother in some ghost planes, and his brother gives him a hard time about bringing Quicksilver back from the dead during the last story arc, not bringing him back. We also find out that Voodoo's magic has been waning lately, has been not working as it should, which I'm not sure, because I don't read the book. I'm not sure if that is a nod to the current storyline that's starting up in Doctor Strange, The Last Days of Magic. That's probably a nod to that. I don't think Uncanny Avengers is going to be crossing over into that. I think that's just a self-contained Doctor Strange story. So then we shift immediately over to a helicopter scene with Cable, Synapse, and Rogue, where Cable's helping Synapse develop her telepathy powers. She's not able to read minds still yet, but he is getting her trained to become a human lie detector. We also see Deadpool dressed up as though he's in Caddyshack because he's getting himself ready for Connecticut when they arrive there in Pleasant Hill. I think for what people think of Deadpool, I think this issue definitely caters to that demographic. So they're approaching Connecticut and they see a government Humvee running down the road, blowing through police, and it's being driven by the Wrecker. If you've been reading Uncanny Avengers, you know that in the last issue, Deadpool paid off the Wrecker to help them look for the Red Skull and find information about the Red Skull after the Wrecker went through and tried to destroy Avengers Mansion, basically looking to go back to prison in that case. So he does get sent back to prison, but apparently he got sent back to Pleasant Hill. Cable, Synapse, Rogue, and Deadpool are able to stop the Humvee. Wrecker was most likely one of the villains who Baron Zemo and the Fixer unlocked during the Assault issue. You also find out that in the Humvee was Maria Hill of S.H.I.E.L.D., that Wrecker was helping her escape from Pleasant Hill because she almost became a, quote, permanent resident of the facility. So we have now her whereabouts, still know what's going on with Steve Rogers. So she's requesting that the Uncanny Avengers help her deal with the situation. Meanwhile, we have S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and S.H.I.E.L.D. mech robots coming in there to take her into custody. The Avengers decide to side with Maria Hill, much to Voodoo's dismay, because he didn't want people seeing them fighting the police and the government and everything, didn't want to set a bad example. You have a moment during the scene where, of all people, Wrecker decides to scream out, "Avengers Assemble." He's basically going through the rest of this issue thinking he's now part of the team. So the Avengers take care of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, get Maria Hill back on their helicopter, and they fly off. Deadpool decides to reward Wrecker with throwing him out of the helicopter, to which he vows vengeance upon Deadpool for doing this to him. The group all arrives outside of Pleasant Hill, where they're joined by Quicksilver and Human Torch, who finally now show up to the story, so they're now involved in the rest of the book. All of a sudden, a S.H.I.E.L.D. hover jet of some sort rises up on the other side of the hill that they're on and begins opening fire. They notice before the jet opens fire on them that it is also piloted by Maria Hill. So you've got Maria Hill that's hanging out with the Avengers right now, then you got another Maria Hill that's shooting the Avengers. Earlier in the issue, Synapse did use her lie detector power on Maria Hill, said that she couldn't read her, was getting both truth and deception from her. So To me, that would indicate that that is Maria Hill, unless the life model decoys are so advanced that they can fool telepaths. So we're not 100% sure which one of the two is Maria Hill. I would assume it's the one asking for help, not the one that's shooting at the Avengers at this point. But we won't know for a couple weeks now. So at the end of this issue, we're directed to go to all new, all different Avengers number 7, which I find a little bit odd because I would have figured that Sam Wilson's team would have been dealing with looking for Rick Jones, seeing as that's how where we left Sam last week with he was helping Rick Jones. I do know that there are some cover issues that I believe I've seen where they showed the 2 different Avengers teams fighting, so that may be where we're heading on this side. Something might be going on in the town that makes the 2 sides fight, and they may have ideological differences about what's going on. Again, this could be tying into Civil War and be a catalyst for that. Overall, I thought both issues were pretty good. We got to see immediately what happened with Rick Jones after the Alpha issue. We're getting the Avengers slowly getting to Pleasant Hill. I would have liked to have actually seen them get there and start dealing with the situation in the town itself, but I think we're at a good place right now with them setting up what's going on. Hopefully new Avengers and all new, all different Avengers can get us more to the story. I would personally like to see some interaction with the villains in the town happen before we get to the April issues, but that may be what ends up happening as well. But we still have a month and a half and plenty of tie-ins before then. That's where we're left right now. So like I said before, this leg of the storyline seems to be, according to the back page of Uncanny Avengers, it seems like this storyline is going to stick between all new, all different Avengers and Uncanny Avengers. I'm not sure on either path where Captain America is going to fit in. I'm not sure where Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to fit in. I'm assuming Illuminati is going to show up toward the end because of the fact that that's a book dealing with villains, so they'll probably be reacting more once the knowledge of this town comes out. That's probably what their tie-in's going to be dealing with, but we'll find out hopefully in the next couple weeks. So this coming week, March 16th, we have no tie-ins with Standoff coming out. The tie-ins don't resume again until March 23rd. That week we'll have both all new, all different Avengers number 7, and we'll have new Avengers number 8. The continuing parts of this storyline, I believe, also will have the next issue of Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. So according to the last pages of these 2 books that just came out, they don't mention Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. whatsoever, so I'm not sure if that's just a tie-in showing like stuff going on around the town, or if one of these other issues is going to filter into that one. I'm not sure yet, but we'll be sure to cover it here once we read the issues and see what's going on. So what are your thoughts on what's going on? Are you enjoying the storyline so far? With Coulson not agreeing with what's going on in the town either, do you think that this S.H.I.E.L.D. team is going to go rogue away from the mainstream S.H.I.E.L.D.? Do you think that S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be dissolved after this once the public finds out about what's going on? It's seeming like that this is where this is going to be leading to. We got Lola over in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. working for the Pentagon, thinking, already saying that this is going to be what destroys S.H.I.E.L.D. Even Coulson's thinking that the knowledge of this is gonna ruin S.H.I.E.L.D. What do you think that the new Avengers stake in this? So far, there's been no mention of Pleasant Hill in their series, and all of a sudden they're just thrown in here, as soon as Rick Jones gets kidnapped. So, what are your thoughts on that? And do you think we're going to have an old school superhero clash, Avengers versus Avengers, over in Uncanny and all new, all different Avengers? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about the channel overall. And we'll see you next week with another review. See you later.